Firefighters Association request to be in the City Council for a couple topics. Mr. Glaze.
My name is Andy Glaze. I'm with the Verne Firefighters Association. I'm the president. I'm going to be taking the first topic, which is the forensic audit request. Last year during the election, the mayor and city council spoke very positively about the health of the city. During the Meet the Candidates night, the financial health of the city was touted as extremely positive. Likewise, it was mentioned multiple times that public safety was the most important. Mayor Kendrick said, quote unquote, public safety is the most important. Robin Carter said, quote unquote, the most important aspect of our city is public safety. And you can find that video on Laverne's Channel 3 YouTube channel. As soon as the election was over, the doom and gloom took over. Now all of a sudden, our public safety workers are going to have to absorb huge cuts in health care and pensions because the city can't afford it anymore. Laverne was going to have to make serious cuts to stay afloat. The city knew all about these PERS issues before the election, but lied to us. The city told the employee groups that they would not be putting any cuts on the backs of the employees. They told us that again and again. They told it to police, they told it to fire, they told it to city workers. Mayor Kendrick, you told us that. Bob Russi, you told us that.
Yep.
Now here we are less than a year later, and the city council has voted to, and I'm going to quote exactly what you voted on. Quote, elimination of one engineer paramedic assignment, end quote, and quote, reassign firefighter paramedic positions to non-ambulance transport assignments, which will cut the paramedic pay by 10%. Both of these devastating cuts hurt the fire department and its ability to serve the city of Laverne. It should also be noted that these cuts were suggested by Fire Chief Pete Jankowski after the department members voted no confidence in him. The Firefighters Association also has filed a federal lawsuit against the fire chief and the city of Laverne for illegally retaliating against us for exercising our freedom of speech and political activity. The city is retaliating against us for filing this federal lawsuit, and the citizens of Laverne are caught in the crosshairs. Unfortunately, this illegal retaliation not only hurts the fire department, but hurts the citizens of Laverne. It is a huge service reduction. Because of this drastic financial situation, taking a stable city to a city barely able to pay its bills, I request a forensic audit, and that the city pay for a forensic audit and make the data available to the citizens to show transparency. With the city of Maywood in the news recently and the city of Bell before it, citizens are skeptical about the finances of local government, especially when the council votes to give sweetheart $80,000 loans to a business with family connections to the council while allowing their police and fire to work without a contract. That's right, both police and fire are out of contract right now. And cut public safety services. If you have nothing to hide, then you'll have no problem shedding light into the corners of your finances. I'd also like to note that the city's finance director, Richard Martinez, abruptly retired last year with very little fanfare. We would be very curious to see what Richard has to say. I would ask for a motion and a second and a vote for a forensic audit. Thank you.
I'd like our city manager to address that first, please.
Sure. I will respond to a couple of statements that I would kind of find inaccurate. There are no cuts in pension that are being suggested. The city is addressing a very significant problem related to their cost in paying the retirements. The CalPERS, who is responsible for the employees' pensions, changed their calculations and formulas back in 2017. As a result of that, come May, we became aware that our costs were going to grow significantly. And by significantly, our average cost for all employees was where the previous 3 to 4 years had been about $275,000 to $280,000, which was significant, and that was every year being added on to the prior year, was going to grow by an estimated $600,000 to $650,000 a year. And it wasn't going to stop until the city's total bill for retirement came to almost $11 million. In response to that, the city council, the city department heads all collectively got together to come up with solutions to that problem. And part of those solutions, yes, did involve changes that were allowable that had an effect on some of the fire association members. It wasn't intentional. It was a list of 11 things that were included in that just so happened to be a few of the items. The individuals, the assignment that is being referred to is relative to Station 3, where we currently have 2 individuals assigned at a time to a paramedic engineer and a firefighter paramedic. We are simply not replacing with an engineer paramedic and making it a paramedic engineer. We will still have 2 personnel to handle medical response out of Station 3. So
Can you tell me the difference between an engineer and a firefighter?
I will go on with what I'm saying now, sir. Thank you. As for the statements that I made that were being referred to, I did say when we had our meeting with employees, when we first adopted our budget last year, I met with Mayor Kendrick and Mayor Pro Tem Hepburn with the employee groups. And at that time, I shared with them that the current budget, everybody was going to be intact as it was. Because I was sharing with them that we had a problem. We had a significant problem that we need to address. And the council took on the challenge of dealing with that over the next 6 months. At that time, I told them there was not going to be any effects because I wanted everybody to know that we were protecting as much of the existing as we could. Unfortunately, the suggestions that are being pointed to have to do with coming year's budgets, not with the current year. Now, I'm sorry that that is the case, and I know the council doesn't take it lightly, but it is necessary so that we can continue to try and provide the services that we do to this community as affordably as we can. This is an issue that's facing more than the city of Laverne. It's facing almost every city and certainly every full-service city that exists in California. Everybody's going to have to wrestle with it. This is the way we're choosing to go about it at this time to try and make ourselves as affordable within the means as we have so we don't have to put any more burden on the residents than necessary. As for the lawsuit, we really can't speak to that at this moment. Unfortunately, and not this legal counsel, but special legal counsel that we were required to hire in order to defend ourselves has advised us of such. There will be a time when it's appropriate for us to share that story, and we will at the appropriate time.
Anybody have any questions of Andy?
Andy, as far as Richard Martins, you asked, you don't know why Richard left so abruptly. Did you have a chance to talk with Richard?
During negotiations.
Okay, because when he announced his retirement, you're right, it was quick. And so I met with him. I called him up and asked him to meet me for lunch and talk with me about, why was he leaving and, his situation. It truly was totally personal. Richard was a very quiet, very eloquent man that did his job. He did the financing for the city of Laverne. And a lot of the pressure too from residents and employee groups was hard on him to deal with, and the questions and the demanding input. It was hard on Richard. So he told me it was totally personal. And that's why he left. But I have a question for you.
Sure.
Is why we lay everything out there at the public forums. You saw how open we were with everything. Everyone's welcome to come to these. Why do you feel that a special audit would benefit anything? We do an annual budget. We do an audit every year. You know, have you read through the audit that we have? Have you asked for clarification?
I know that the city of Glendora recently just had a forensic audit and they found upwards of $30 million. Honestly, I don't trust you guys. That's why I'm asking for a forensic audit.
I would like to ask our city manager to address the audits that we do. Bob?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The city is required and has no less than 10, but in some cases 14 audits that are done on an annual basis by whether it be independent auditors that are hired to go through those, to audits from other agencies that are connected with special funds and also look into other funds that exist within that are connected to those restricted activities. So we are constantly under review. Those documents are public and available for anybody to review. We recently completed our consolidated audit, which is up on the website every year that it is completed. Matter of fact, we just signed our audit last week and submitted that, and there were no findings within that. And it is certainly available for review at any time, and it is always open to the public for scrutiny and question. We put it on an agenda for review, and I don't know what other question you might have on that. We're constantly looking or having others look at our books.
Can we have our auditor come and do a presentation at the city council meeting? Instead of we've just done it on consent? Is there a chance we can do it open so that the auditors can come and answer any questions that we might have, but also what the public might have?
Yeah, I can probably get that, since we just completed it, probably sometime next month, I can have it added to the agenda and do it as an other item.
What is the cost of a forensic audit?
Well, I did ask a question of the finance people that I have, not a quote, but our current audit runs in the 20 to 25 range. The estimate would be double to triple that cost.
The auditor that just did Glendora, it was $2,500 a year, and he recommended 10 years, so that would be $25,000.
Thank you for that.
Well, I just feel with our audit, every year we pay for that, we review it, and we have our annual meeting each year. It's open to the public, and I feel that covers what we need to do.
And I would suggest that you do that, and then if there's some other questions that need to be answered out of that, we can go from there.
Well, when, 85% of our budget is employee benefits and pay, that there isn't that much discretionary funds there, and it's itemized. You can see what we're doing between our reserves. We have our healthy reserves for emergencies in the city, and then with the itemized items that are on there, you can see what there is, and we'll be very happy to meet with you, go over each and everything on there. We're very open. You know, there's so many accusations tonight that just can be thrown at us or accused of us, and Facebook and the internet was spoken. It's easy for someone to post false information, and we don't have a chance to respond, but it's easy to accuse someone. So I would rather have someone, all of us are on the home page for the city. You can contact us. My cell phone's on there, my home phone number, all of us. We love to have input from our community. We get quite a bit. And I would like that relationship with everyone, our employees, which we mostly have, and it's just that we need to keep that communication open. We live here. We love our community. We want to be a part of all of us together. So, as the gentleman said, it's us together that makes this work.
I would agree, and that's why police and fire our associations will be sponsoring a GoFundMe page, and we will be raising money for a forensic audit if you do not approve it. Because police and fire are in this together.
Could we just find out what the actual cost is, Bob? I mean, we're throwing numbers out here, I have no idea.
It's $2,500 a year.
Can you find out from our, not say, just to find out the exact cost, please?
Yeah, I weigh in on finding out what the costs are, because our annual audit's $25,000. And you're saying a forensic audit is 10 times less than that?
Yes, that's what the gentleman charges, that just opened doors.
Well, I mean, that makes no sense, because
Say, buddy, good.
the independent auditors come with a team of 4 or 5, and they're on site for 6 weeks. I mean, it's a lot of time. And
That's a
if
forensic audit.
an accountant is charging $2,500, that's not much of an hourly rate.
Maybe you guys are paying too much. I can't imagine a government paying too much for something.
I will find out.
I guess I would like to move that we investigate how much it would cost to get a forensic audit so we can get a number we can rely on. I would also move that we present our annual audit in March at a council meeting so that people at least can see what that explains and expresses.
I'll find which one works out best for the auditor's schedule, but okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Just a minute. Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second on that? Second. Is there any comment on this? With regards, we're going to, the first and the second, we're going to find out about what the cost of a forensic audit. We're going to bring to the meeting in March our auditors to answer questions, make a presentation, and go from there. So is there anybody that would like to make a comment from that? Yes, sir.
I'm Alan Waddle, I live at 369 North Circle. Excuse me, I didn't expect to be here up at the podium tonight. The president has asked for a forensic audit. And I'm wondering if the council knows whether or not that is a term of art, because it seems to imply an evidentiary, there's an element of evidence there. And so if we're being sued by the group that wants the city to obtain evidence against itself, maybe that is worth looking at a little deeper. If it is just some other kind of audit or access to records that they wouldn't ordinarily get access to, that's a different issue. But I'd like to explore a little bit deeper the intent of a forensic audit.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Okay, we have a motion and a second to move forward with this. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed? Okay, we will move to item 7C2, benefits of a regional fire approach. Mr. Montoya?